Despite Romania having millions more people than Hungary, Hungary often comes out on top in terms of quality of life. But when it comes to figuring out which country takes the lead in the Eastern Europe race, guess what? There's more than one right answer, and it all depends on what you're looking at. In today's video, we're comparing Romania and Hungary on 5 major battlegrounds: economic growth, quality of life, population size, geopolitical influence, and military power. In just 10 action-packed minutes, you'll get the lowdown on everything from who's growing their money faster to which country offers a better day-to-day life for its people. Let's get started. First up, let's talk about cash. GDP growth to be exact. Romania and Hungary are like two runners in a sprint, pushing hard to outpace each other. Recently, Hungary's been seen puffing its chest out, boasting a GDP per capita that's about $8,865 higher than Romania's. Yep, you heard that right. Hungary has a GDP per capita of $33,408, while Romania is trailing with $24,543. Romania is making waves with IT and tech innovation. On the flip side, Hungary has a booming automotive and pharmaceutical market. But who has more jobs? Hungary has a slight lead with a lower unemployment rate of 4.2% compared to Romania's 6.9%. It might not seem like a big difference at first glance, but every little bit counts in the world of jobs. A general rule of thumb is that jobs in Hungary's top sectors might fetch a slightly higher salary than similar positions in Romania. This is especially true in industries where Hungary leads. But don't be fooled. Romania's tech sector is a golden goose for those with the skills, often offering salaries that can compete on a European scale, especially in cities like Bucharest and Cluj-Napoca. Inflation rates are where things get a bit spicy. Imagine your money buying less and less each day. That's inflation for you. Hungary and Romania are both feeling the heat. But here's the kicker. Romania's inflation rate is a bit cooler at 13.8%, while Hungary sweats at a slightly higher 14.6%. So the first round goes to Hungary in terms of economic standard. To provide a detailed comparison between Romania and Hungary on social policies and quality of life, we focus on healthcare, education, social security, welfare programs, and public safety. The Romanian healthcare system has historically been underfunded, and challenges include infrastructure, access to services, and staffing. The Romanian government allocates approximately 5.6% of its GDP to healthcare, which is lower than the EU average. Life expectancy in Romania stands at about 76.64 years. Hungary's healthcare system similarly faces funding and resource allocation issues, but spends a slightly higher portion of its GDP on healthcare, around 6.6%. Hungary's life expectancy is a bit higher than Romania's, at around 77.45 years. Next, let's discuss education in both countries. Romania, a former communist country, strongly emphasizes access to education at all levels. The country's literacy rate is impressive, at approximately 98.8%, indicating widespread access to primary education. However, despite these achievements, access to education for citizens in rural areas remains a challenge. In recent years, various organizations, including NGOs, government bodies, and international partnerships have intensified their efforts to bridge this gap, ensuring equitable education opportunities for all population segments. One of Romania's notable strengths is its performance in international competitions, especially in mathematics, informatics, and science, where Romanian students frequently win awards. It's a sort of a paradox when we know that Romania's government expenditure on education is about 3.1% of its GDP, which has sparked debates on the need for increased funding. Hungary also strongly emphasizes education, with a literacy rate of nearly 99%. Their educational system is structured to provide a comprehensive and inclusive approach to learning, with a strong emphasis on both academic and vocational training. Education in Hungary is predominantly public, with the state providing free education from the age of 3 to 18. Unlike the US, where you'd spend a fortune to fix minor health issues, both of these countries have excellent welfare programs. The Romanian government spends a chunk of its budget on pensions for the elderly, aiming to ensure that they can live with dignity after retiring from a lifetime of work. But that's a complex matter, especially now, with an increasingly aging population and migratory flows. It's well known that many Romanians left the country in the last 2 decades, seeking better living standards overseas. The standard retirement age in Romania was 65 for men and 63 for women, with plans to equalize it by 2030. The average monthly pension in Romania was about 1,500 Romanian leu, or approximately 305 euros. Did you know that there was even an unemployment benefit scheme? Imagine you have a job, and every month, a part of your salary goes into a special fund. This fund is like a piggy bank, but it's specifically for times when someone might not have a job. This is called contributing to the unemployment insurance scheme. The rule is that you can get about 75% of your average salary before losing your job. So, if you were earning, let's say 1,000 units of money every month, you can expect to receive about 750 units of money as your unemployment benefit. This helps you cover your expenses while searching for a new job. Hungary operates a unified pension system, combining a state pension with voluntary private pension options. The retirement age for both men and women as of 2021 was 65. The average state pension in Hungary was around 500 euros. In addition, Hungary has better healthcare and social support incentives, so Hungary would be the overall winner in this category. Have you ever wondered what it's like to live in Hungary compared to Romania, especially considering how crowded each place is? Starting with the basics, as of July 2021, Hungary had a population of about 9.7 million people, while Romania was home to over 21 million folks. You might be thinking, okay, so Romania has more than double Hungary's population, but what does that actually mean for me? Well, it's all about the vibe and space you're looking for. Imagine walking through the streets of Budapest, Hungary's capital, versus strolling around Bucharest, Romania's heart. With fewer people per square kilometer in Hungary, the streets might feel a bit more spacious, giving you that sweet spot of having enough people to live freely, but not so crowded that you're bumping shoulders every 2 steps. But it's not just about how many people you might run into. The population age structure tells us more about what life in these countries is like. For example, both countries have a similar percentage of younger folks under 14, but Hungary has a slightly higher percentage of the population over 65. This could mean a more mature vibe in certain areas, possibly with more amenities geared towards seniors. And when it comes to how fast the population is growing or shrinking, both countries are seeing more people leave than arrive. Romania's population is decreasing a bit faster, with a negative 0.38% growth rate, compared to Hungary's negative 0.29%. Now, for the kicker that really sets them apart, the density and distribution of people across cities and countryside. Hungary's population is more urbanized, with over 72% of folks living in cities, compared to Romania's 54%. This means life in Hungary might offer more urban conveniences, but the hustle and bustle city dwellers know all too well. Meanwhile, Romania offers more room to breathe, with vast rural areas and smaller towns that could give you a closer connection to nature and a slower pace of life. If push comes to shove, and we end up having a conflict between these two countries, which country is most likely to be favored by external allies? First, we have Romania, which is friends with the US and has also been in NATO since 2004. This alliance isn't just about military might. It's about being part of a global power network that offers security, technological advancement, and economic benefits. The US support isn't merely symbolic. It involves military cooperation and aid, which provides Romania with a robust safety net in times of crisis. While also a member of the EU and NATO, Hungary navigates a more nuanced path. Its connections with the Visegrad Group amplify its voice in regional matters and the EU. However, Hungary's relationship with Russia presents a double-edged sword. Hungary has a sort of frenemy relationship with Russia. On one hand, they depend on Russia for energy, like gas and oil, and they've been friendly on various fronts. But on the other hand, they have to balance this friendship carefully, because they're also part of teams like the EU and NATO, who aren't always on the same page as Russia. So, who wins? Well, given Romania has more internationally accepted partnerships and Hungary's controversial ties with Russia, it's easy to say that Romania has the upper hand here. This brings me to my last point, and possibly the most interesting of them all. Starting with Romania, their armed forces are quite formidable, with approximately 73,350 active personnel and a substantial number of reservists, estimated at around 50,000. Romania's army is the backbone of its military, equipped with a mix of Soviet-era and modern Western equipment. They have around 227 main battle tanks, primarily TR-85 models, a homegrown version updated from older Soviet designs. And they're also in the process of modernizing their fleet with newer models. Additionally, Romania boasts a significant artillery arsenal, including self-propelled howitzers and rocket launchers. In the air, Romania's Air Force is a mix of old and new, with their fighter jet fleet including MiG-21 Lancers, which are being phased out, and F-16 Fighting Falcons, which are taking the lead role. They're also looking to further modernize by acquiring F-35s, significantly upgrading their aerial combat capabilities. Romania's strategic position on the Black Sea gives its navy an important role, operating frigates, corvettes, and mine warfare vessels.